Tom, what are you looking at here this week? Do you have any trades on or trades that you're looking at?
I'm looking. Can you see my chart okay, guys?
Yeah, we'll pull it up.
Yeah, so I'm looking at euro pound for a short trade. It's at an interesting level right now for me, so a potential setup. Just seen price bounce off this level. Yeah, come back down, breaking these lows. So now I'm just looking for potential shorts in here, guys. Basically, I'm looking for a reaction, and then we can start taking price back down to these lows, is what I am looking at. And I really want to buy pound US dollar as well.
Do you? Okay. Yeah. What's the idea on pound dollar?
So if we go to pound US dollar, this is the day chart. We was clearly in an uptrend, and it found itself in a bit of a range, between these two prices here. And then once we got this candle, guys, I was just looking for, more room to the upside. A potential target here where I will close some of my trade and then let some of it run. But just waiting for a time to get in, and buy this pair, really. I know you're interested in buying euro US dollar. So,
I really like the pound dollar idea, Tom. And we actually talked last week. We talked a little bit about, if you remember, like the interest rate divergences. We talked a little bit about, the UK and their situation with super high levels of inflation. If we pull up the inflation chart, I always find this very interesting. The divergence, I already had it pulled up from earlier. The divergence between the UK's really, really crazy above 10% still levels of inflation compared to the US's declining inflation. It's an interesting story because it actually creates a fundamental catalyst to go along with your technical charts, which I also liked, because again, you have a nice upward trend. As you're mentioning, the daily chart looks pretty healthy, but then also you have this fundamental catalyst where the Bank of England, they have such a problem in front of them with this 10% inflation. They're going to have to raise rates, and it's sort of up in the air with the Federal Reserve whether or not they will also continue to raise rates or if they're going to pause. But either ways, we know one thing. We know that the UK almost certainly has to continue to raise rates to get that inflation problem. So it creates a double whammy where you have the nice technicals, but you also have the fundamentals. So I really like that concept.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, Ivan, what's your thoughts? I know you've got a couple things you're looking at. Do you want to talk first on the pound and then maybe clarify on this Fed meeting that's coming up?
Do you have any questions about any of our products or services? Right now, members of the A1 Trading team are standing by, waiting to assist you. You can head over to our website, a1trading.com, and click the icon in the bottom right-hand corner to chat with one of our team members live. You can also go to a1trading.com/contact and fill out the Contact Us form, and someone will get back to you shortly. We have our helpful and friendly members of our support staff ready to chat with you anytime Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So what are you waiting for? If you have any questions, feel free to chat with us live right now on the A1 Trading website.
Yeah, I was wanting to clarify the US dollar because I said in the chat, I said bearishness then bullishness on dollar, and you thought it was Aussie.
Okay, yeah, I only barely read your headline message. So give us the rundown on the Aussie. Tell us what you're thinking.
So they came out unexpected today with a higher rate hike projection. They're going to hike one more time. As far as I know, nobody expected it. Maybe a couple of you, but none of the major ones. So it was not as expected. And as you can see here, or as you can see on the chart, we did rise pretty straightforward, straight up. Now we're breaking lower. So I've seen in chat somebody has sold Aussie dollar and somebody probably going to buy it. The case here is he going to make a higher high? If it makes a higher high, great. It's a clear cut case of bullishness. But what generally tends to happen is that we price in the news and then we collapse down. So that's my take.
So Okay, so there was I didn't even hear about this, so I'm late to the party. So with Australian dollar, they had sort of expectations for a further rate hike than expected. It caused the Aussie to pump, and now you're sort of saying, okay, that now the rumor has come into the news, and you're thinking that it's due for sort of a sell off, or are you looking to buy the Aussie dollar?
Can you go back to Forex Factory?
Yeah,
because they had an interesting meeting today. Which
the cash rate,
which
yes.
they
Okay.
had a 25 basis point rate hike today,
Okay, I'm sorry.
which was
yeah.
not expected.
Yep.
As you can see, previous 3.6 forecast was 3.6, and they came out on 3.85.
Got it.
That's where it comes from. That's where, and then they said Then they said for the next meeting they're going to hike again, or for the future they're
Got
going to
it.
hike again.
Got it.
Then
Okay.
I say that news theory, how news works, is that the initial push is the initial news. If there's no more news coming out, we will then cripple downwards. So as long as this one is making lows, I said go ahead if you want to short it. Not any advice whatsoever. But if it goes higher high, sure, then Australian dollar can continue its bullish uptrend. I don't expect a bullish uptrend continuation
Fair enough.
unless US dollar becomes bearish.
Yeah, which of course is an interesting one. You've got tomorrow being a big event. We also have in just a couple of minutes, guys, we've got the, speaking of Forex Factory, we got the Jolts job openings. Should be interesting, coming out in 6 minutes or so. I want to go to Tom with that Australian dollar here for a second. Tom, what do you think? Any Aussie pairs that you're interested in now? Do you have any on your watch list or not really?
Not really, but I've got a level through here on Aussie dollar, US dollar. So if this daily candle, if this, large wick remains on the daily candle, then, I'm still seeing potential shorts for Aussie dollar, US dollar. It's in a downtrend for me, and this is potentially a new lower high. So, we have some room to move into, but it really depends on today's daily candle and how big that wick is and how it finishes. But
Sure.
before today, I was also looking at New Zealand US dollar. So that obviously both highly correlated. And then if I bring up the New Zealand US dollar chart, we're seeing New Zealand US dollar at a really nice level. We had this candle here form yesterday, which I was interested to take shorts on, potentially back down to here. And if this, if this last high holds, then, I'm still interested in this pair. And if we drop to the H4, you can see we've had quite a H4 reaction at this level. So, if we get some follow through here, then potentially interested in New Zealand US dollar shorts and Aussie dollar US dollar shorts. But I really want those last daily highs to hold before I start looking for shorts.
And to both of you guys' points, I would say, both with the New Zealand dollar that I'm looking at, as well as the Australian dollar, tomorrow as we go into the Fed meeting, it's going to have a lot of potentially driving effect to a potential new trends, because with Ivan pointing out that, of course, the Australian dollar, they raised more than expected. There's some hawkishness to be expected. The question is this going to have the steam to sort of break us to the upside on some of these downtrends? Or is the Federal Reserve going to match that hawkishness and just cause this rally to turn into a big sell-off? So I think tomorrow really will set some trends. And, in terms of a lot of times analysts, what they'll do is they'll talk continuously in theory. They'll never actually call shots. But I really appreciate that with both of you guys and with the goal with the show, we lay out our ideas. So for me, I would say that with Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, tomorrow's tone from the Federal Reserve will probably cause some directional bias here for me in the next week or so. So for example, let's say that the Federal Reserve is more dovish than expected, and this causes the Australian dollar to just rocket higher. And of course, as Tom mentioned, with some high levels of correlation there, we'd probably see similar concepts with the New Zealand dollar. That breakout, any sort of pullbacks, I would say, hey, that's a fundamental catalyst to the upside. The dollar looks really weak, and there may be some great continuations. But if they match that hawkishness, this thing probably starts to completely sell off. And what I'd be looking for from in terms of tangible ideas personally would be levels of support to break and then looking for retest sells. So again, here's like the Australian dollar, a couple levels of key support. So if price were to become very hawkish and erase these gains that we made, if the US dollar, if the US was to be very hawkish in their Fed meeting tomorrow, it could break key structure. So what I'd be looking for personally tomorrow in terms of tangible trade setups would be broken levels of support structure or breaking levels of resistance structure, and then sort of looking for that momentum to carry whichever direction the market looks to go in. And to Ivan's point about like pullbacks, right? You get a possible big break tomorrow to the upside if we get a dovish Fed. The Aussie dollar on pullbacks to me looks very interesting. So we'll just have to sort of wait and see what happens with that Fed meeting tomorrow. So that's my take on it.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free EdgeFinder, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.